What's happening? Tonight I'm making jambalaya for dinner. I'm going all out, all Cajun, all night long. That's right. So to start this jambalaya, I'm going to actually make it in my Instant Pot because I did take out this pork shoulder roast. It's a beautiful organic piece of pork that is from our friends at Stauffer Farms. Thank you so very much for this delicious product. It's amazing. I'm going to start with this pork shoulder, which I did take out to thaw, but it's still a little bit frozen in the very center, but that's what the Instant Pot is for, and that's where it comes in to work its magic. So to get started, I have a lot of veg that's already prepped. I'm going to set my Instant Pot to saute because I want to saute my veg first. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, into the Instant Pot. And it's getting hot already. On my cutting board, I have in this cup about 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic. I have about a cup of finely chopped leeks, and leeks are a totally optional element that you can put into the jambalaya. I like it because it's got a really sweet, mild onion flavor to it, and I like having more things mixed into it. In this bowl right here, I have about 3/4 cup of finely diced celery right here. I've got a cup of finely chopped onion, and I've also got about a cup of finely diced green bell pepper as well. The beautiful thing about the onions and the bell pepper is that when they go on sale and you can buy them in bulk, then you just buy whatever you can. You can chop them up and freeze them. They freeze really nicely. So that's why this piece of bell pepper is still stuck together. It's still frozen. No big deal. It's all going to sweat out, perfume the air, season the dish. It's going to be absolutely incredible. All right. So my oil is heating up, and I want to go ahead and add in my trinity, which is my celery, onions, and bell peppers right here into the pot. I want to let this sweat just a little bit, where it's going to start to give off moisture and start to perfume the air. And I'll know it's there whenever I can hear it sizzle. I want the onions to get just a little bit of caramelization on them. You can hear the vegetables sizzling now, and looking in the pot, there's a lot of water that's evaporated out, which is fantastic. So we're going to start to get a little bit of that caramelization here that's going to give us just another layer of flavor. So as this continues to cook, I'm going to add in my leeks. Right in there. And I'm going to add in all of my garlic as well. It smells so fragrant. The leeks just give the onion a little bit of a boost, because you have kind of that sharpness from the yellow onion, a little bit of sweetness, but you get even more milder, sweeter flavor from the leeks. And that garlic is just so aromatic in itself. Oh my gosh. All right, this is gonna cook and brown and kind of stew down for just a few more minutes. I want most of the liquid to evaporate out, and I want to get a little bit of coloring on the veg. So we're going to let this go. Don't go too far. It might take about 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, the vegetables have wilted down, and they're starting to char a little bit. And you can see right here in the pot, oh, that's hot, kind of starting to get brown and starting to stick a little bit right here. But that's fine. That's perfect. That's just what we're looking for. So what we're going to do is we're going to enhance that flavor while deglazing the pot just a little bit. And I have some tomato paste, and I only want to put about 1 tablespoon of tomato paste in here. That looks right. And what this is going to do is it's going to give it a super rich flavor and a super rich color, and just enhance all of the goodness and bring everything together. Now I want to mix it in, and I want to cook the tomato paste with the vegetables until it turns like a really deep brick red. Now to bring out the richness in the tomatoes and really kind of change the flavor profile just a little bit, I want to add my secret ingredient, just a tiny little spoon of sugar. So I'm going about a teaspoon's worth of sugar right there on the vegetables. That's it. It's turning a beautiful brick red now, and I still have some pieces sticking to the bottom of the pan, which is great. I actually look forward to that because that's going to give it extra flavor. Once I deglaze the pan or the pot and lift all of those little bits, it's just going to add another dimension, and that's what cooking is about. It's just layering flavor upon flavor upon flavor. All right. So here's what the vegetables look like now. You can see if I can do this without burning my hand. There you go. All right. And here's where you would add half a cup of chicken stock or half a cup of white wine, which I don't have either one, so I'm going to go with option number 3. Half a cup of beer. And you can use any beer you like. I pour just enough to bring up all of those bits. So now since I've got all of the vegetable infused with flavor and beer and tomato and sugar, and I've got all of this, wow. Really super happy marriage happening. I want to season up my pork. I'm going to take this guy and season them very, very liberally with my gunpowder seasoning. Now if you're interested in trying some of this, it's a wonderful seasoning. It's a family recipe. And I'm just going to go ahead and season them all up. It's a family recipe that my grandfather actually has been working on or has perfected. And it took him about 20 years to do it. And it started out as a seasoning for a deer sausage that we would make. But you can see it's not just for sausage. I really do put this on pretty much everything. I mean, everything. It's got garlic, it's got onions, it's got hot pepper. It's just an amazing seasoning. There's nothing else like it. So I got this guy all seasoned up, and I'm going to make a little well here in the center and put him right in the middle. There we go. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to move him over. And we're going to let him brown for just a few minutes. We're going to flip him, let him brown on the other side as well, and then we're going to add more to it. It's jambalaya. It's a big mixture. Amazing. Now, jambalaya is usually made with a couple of different kinds of meat. Usually it's pork and sausage or chicken and sausage, but there's usually a sausage element, some kind of smoky flavor that's in there. And I'm using the Stauffer Farms smoked sausage, which is another absolutely phenomenal product. And it's got a little bit of smoky flavor, a little bit of heat, which is just going to add so much more character to our jambalaya. The meat's already browned and I've already flipped it, so it's still cooking on the other side. And you'll notice that the bottom of the pot is drying out just a little bit. It's fine, it's more color. It's a beautiful thing, actually. Very nice. You can still hear it sizzle. All right, so what we're going to do is add in our smoked sausage, just like that. We do that comme ça, like that. Okay. Kind of spread it around a little bit. Add just another splash of beer. So you do want to leave just a little bit left in the bottle because you don't want that strong overpowering flavor. So if you have more chicken stock, fantastic. Wine, just another little splash or another little sip of beer, no big deal. I also want to add a little bit of water. So I'm going to add a cup of water. That's about right. Because what's going to happen is the water's going to come up and it's going to cover most of the meat. Like it's not actually going to fully cover it. You're going to have about 1 inch to 2 inches of that shoulder roast sticking up above the water, which is great. We're going to go ahead and put the lid on it. We're going to seal it up and pressure cook it for about 30 minutes. Now this shoulder roast is going to fall apart. It's going to be super tender. It's going to be absolutely just divine. I mean, the meat's just going to melt in your mouth. It's going to be so wonderful, the perfect texture for this particular dish. All right, so we're going to close up our Instant Pot. Close it up, turn it to sealing. Yep, there it is. And I want to pressure cook it for 35 minutes. That's about right. And I'll just let it kick on. There it goes. I'm going to let it do its thing. I'm going to clean up this mess. While I'm looking at it here, this gunpowder seasoning, seriously guys, you've got to try this. If you're interested in any information about it or just want to try a little sample of it, hit me up, find me on Facebook or find me on Instagram and say, hey, Keisha, where can I get my hands on some of that amazing gunpowder spice that you're always using? I'm happy to send some to you. All right, this is gonna go. I'm gonna clean up and then we're gonna put it all together, okay? It's been a little bit more than 35 minutes because the the pressure cooker did go off, but whenever I checked it, the meat still wasn't quite as tender as I wanted it to be, so I set it for another 25 minutes. So this time it should be great. Now to get the most flavor, you should usually let it go ahead and decompress naturally. When the little silver bullet drops, you know it's done. However, I'm not that patient. So a fun little trick is to put a cloth over the valve and then open it up. So that way whatever steam comes out in particles is not going to stain your ceiling or get all over your light fixtures. And the bullet just dropped. Dude, check this out! Holy cow, that's hot. All right. Super tender. This is exactly what I'm looking for. It just came off. Look at that. Taste it. It's hot! That's really so good. All right. So while this was cooking in the Instant Pot, I did steam up a pot of rice because there's a lot of liquid that's in here that I want to go ahead and have the rice just absorb in. So I'm going to go get the rice, mix it up, and then we're going to eat and have such a fantastic jambalaya. Let me get it. I've got a pot of rice here, and it was 2 to 1. That's my ratio. So it's a 1.5 cups of dry rice to 3 cups of water, a couple drops of coconut vinegar or distilled vinegar, just literally like 2 drops, half a teaspoon of sugar, some salt, taste your water, set the rice, you're good to go. Okay, this guy is kind of warm. Move this one over right there. Take this guy out, just like that. Okay. I don't know if you can see it very well, but take a look at all of that goodness. You see all of that broth right here at the bottom? That's going to absorb right into the rice and just give it so much more flavor. And this is one of those dishes, like most Cajun dishes, it just gets better as it sits. So with that huge pork shoulder that was in there, I want to shred up the meat, you know, nice big chunks, but I don't want massive pieces, but enough to where it mixes in with the rice really well. So whenever you get a scoop, you get it, you know, as close to uniform as possible. All right, here we go. Adding a little bit of rice. All right, so the rice is all mixed in. I've got the smoked sausage. I've got the pieces of pulled pork right here. Ooh, nice and hot. I've got all the veg that was in there too. The onions, the garlic, the green bell pepper, the leeks, the celery. This is gonna be amazing. Remember that tomato paste and the beer that we used to deglaze it? All right, we're getting ready for this. Time to serve it up. Taste it, and then we'll see if I leave anything for anybody else. All right, moment of truth. Here we go. Get some pork and some sausage in there. Oh my word. I love the sausage. There we go. Look at this. Check that. That is classic Cajun fare right there. Oh man, look at that. Look at that beautiful shred of pork. See that? If that doesn't get your mouth watering, nothing will. Woo! It's hot. But you know what? As steamy as this is, I don't care. I'm going to go in for another bite because it's just that damn good. All right. Cajun jambalaya. Here you go. Here's the recipe. Follow it. Do it. You can do it in a Dutch oven on the stove if you don't have an Instant Pot. No big deal. But I promise you, it is well worth the effort. And it's not much effort into it. So, I'll tell you what. This is one of the best jambalayas that I've ever had. And everyone who tries it is absolutely going to love it. They're going to think that this has been cooking all day long, when in honest reality, it took you less than an hour to make. So here you go. From my kitchen here at Kitchen Bravo to your kitchen at home, come get you some, chef. Make you jambalaya. You're gonna love it.